You ready to dive into the hottest topics, from music to sports and everything in between? We've got you covered. Join us on the Werk Show, where we break down the latest trends and give you the inside scoop. Whether you're a music lover or a sports fanatic, this is the place to be. Hit that subscribe button now and join our Reddit community. Make it work. And now, I give you your host, Trey Tuck.
All right, what's going on? What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Werk Show, where all we do is talk about work. This is your host, Trey Tuck. I'm here. I've been gone for a while, and I'm here to get back into it. This has been a long journey. This whole process in general has just been something that, been working towards and want to continue. So I'm glad to be back. I'm glad to be doing this again, because I never stopped. I just needed new plans. For those who have been here, we've been working on trying to have a higher visual. We're not going to do this thing live anymore. It's going to be pre-recorded, edited by yours truly, and then we'll end up posting it and clipping it up and doing what we got to do. So just sit back, relax, and enjoy the vibe. Got a lot of things to talk about today. Frankly, for those who are new, for those who are going to listen, and for those who have listened, we kind of just touch on all topics here. If you have anything that interests you, leave it in the comments. You can tweet, you can send me DMs, TikTok, Instagram, whatever works. Recently just created a Reddit channel as well, so I'm working through that. But as the days go on, it seems like nothing is going to get better as far as just the things that are happening in the world. So we come here to have a little bit of jokes, talk to y'all, answer questions. And at the end of the show, we have something called How Can I Make This Work? Which is the segment I started before and I was attempting to do, but I slowed down with my side of things. But basically, the sentiment is ask me a question or post it on Reddit, whatever it is, and we'll figure out how we can solve your problem, right? That's the name of the game. That's what it's about. And we're here to make this thing grow. So sit back, relax, enjoy it. And if, you enjoy the takes, then please leave a comment below or just in general. So let's get to it. So I want to start with something more lighthearted. So we're gonna start with sports. So for those who don't know, I am a big, and I want to emphasize I'm a big sports fan. I'm a huge football fan. That is my favorite sport. And as most of you know, the NFL playoffs took shape over the past weekend. They call it the wild card weekend, right? And for me, this is interesting because wild card weekend has been some of the best games that we've seen. I think it's a huge understatement if you're into sports, if you're into football, what we've been seeing football wise. All the games were close, right? And let's start with the top. So first off, I got screwed this week trying to gamble on any of these games because nothing even mattered. I had AJ Brown to have 40 yards. He couldn't do that. The Bears came back and won, killed the 3.5 plus 3.5 spread that they had. What else? I knew the Bills were gonna win. I knew the Patriots were gonna win, but I still didn't think they were gonna win that by that much. Like I didn't think that they were gonna beat the shit out of the Chargers. Justin Herbert looked terrible, but let's start with Saturday, right? You had the Panthers and Rams, which was a really, really good game. I think, which I've been saying to people, that I believe that the Bills, either I said the Bills and the Eagles, but the Eagles got knocked out. But I do think that the Bills are going to the Super Bowl. I don't know who they're going to play. I don't know if it's going to be the Rams or the Seahawks. Definitely hope it's not the 49ers, but how it's scripted, man, I wouldn't be surprised. It's in Santa Clara. It's at their home facility, so I don't necessarily know how that's going to work out, but I just don't want them to be in this. I don't want them to be in the Super Bowl. I think 49ers fans are insufferable. They might be worse than Cowboy fans, frankly. And then you have, your Eagles fans, which I was rooting for. I wanted them to win, but they didn't pull through. So it is what it is. But that's kind of where this has been pretty cool to see. As you guys can see, like, all the games were close, except for last night's game, Houston versus the Steelers, which was the Steelers shouldn't have been in the playoffs in the first place. They got in there by a missed field goal, which, Aaron Rodgers, Mike Tomlin, there was a lot of coaches that got fired. John Harbaugh got fired. Mike Tomlin got released. So it's a little different in verbiage, but Mike Tomlin stepped down, excuse me. So the game that was probably the craziest game I watched, I would say it was the Carolina and Rams game, only because at some point you thought Carolina was going to end up winning the game, closing it out, but Matt Ryan, Puka, Devontae Adams, it's just too much for them to handle. I think the Eagles folded. If I have to go off of who impressed and who folded, I think the Eagles folded. There's no way that, excuse me, let me rewind that. Let me bring that back. I think that the Packers folded. The Packers were up 21-3 going into the fourth quarter, and they lost 31-27. The Bears scored 25 points in the fourth quarter. That is crazy. You have to give it up to Ben Johnson and the boys, but they shouldn't have won that game. So, we'll kind of get to see more of that going on. My predictions for this week are simple. I got the Seahawks and the Rams. They're going to play each other in the conference championship, and I have the Bills and the Texans. Bills and the Texans or Bills and the Patriots, but I don't see the Broncos winning. I have no faith in them. The spread is -1.5, which is a pick'em, which tells you that Vegas has no idea either. So this is going to be one of those games where it's like really interesting. The fact that the Rams have a 3.5 point spread is also interesting, but I think that game's going to be close. But I don't know. It's outside. It's outdoors. We'll see. But Matt Stafford, I think he plays to his competition. So if he knows they have to get up for a big game, I think they'll get up for one. Which kind of goes into our first topic, right? There was a reporter. Her name was Lynn. We ended up going to find out that her name was Lynn Jones. Is that what it was? I believe her name was Lynn Jones. And she was from the Jacksonville Tribune. And, people were all up in arms about her conduct. But I'm going to play this for you guys and let you guys be the judge of it. Let's see. So I'm going to play this clip.
Congratulations on your success, young man.
Thank
you. Hold your.
Turn it up a little bit. And I'll tell you how I felt about this.
I want to tell you, congratulations on your success, young man.
Thank
you.
You
Hold your head up, all right? You guys have had a most magnificent season.
Thank you.
You did a great job out there today.
Appreciate
so you
it.
just hold your head up, okay?
Thank
and
you,
ladies
ma'am.
and gentlemen, Duval, you the one, all
Thank
right?
you, ma'am.
keep it going. We got another season, okay?
I appreciate
Take
it.
care and much continued success to you and the entire team.
Thank you, ma'am.
So, everybody was up in arms about this, and I didn't understand why. Which, humanity is fucked, man. Like when we really sit down and think about how people view certain things, like the humanity is cooked, bro. Like these people were up in arms about this. So if you hear this, and you're not a sports fan or you're not a sports reporter, you're just like, okay, this is harmless. This is somebody being encouraging. But people killed this lady. to the point where this is what people are saying, right? The fact that people in the media are media shaming. This is the reason why athletes don't like reporters. This lady decided to give a first-year head coach a positive message after a tough loss and some life into him, and speak some life into him. And y'all have the nerve to say it was unprofessional. Y'all really lost the plot. Blah 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 blah. Like, this was the point. Everyone was literally saying like, this is unprofessional. She shouldn't be talking to them like that. Even to the point where Jemele Hill, which was very, very disappointing and disgusting, she was the worst of them all. So, you would think she jumped out the window quick too, like, which was very insane. And everybody responded and had the opportunity to speak about it. And I think, this is unavailable now.
I think everyone.
I don't want to hear this shit. But even to the point where, like, we had the Pat McAfees of the world commenting to it. And I'll give you guys my take right after we listen to what he had to say.
Legitimately, I have been so baffled by the fact. I put a post out this morning about it because I've thought about it a lot. I've wondered why our show works. I've wondered why people like our show. Legitimately, I have been so baffled by the fact that this show, and we would like to let you know, we are so thankful that we get to do this show. But why is this show having the success? And I think it's because most of the people that have been covering sports for a long time, not most, sorry, a percentage larger than you would hope, much larger than you would hope, that chose to do sports journalism. I think they don't like sports. I think these people hate sports. I think they're political journalists by nature who preyed on sports as an easier path to be able to get into the biz. Sports journalism is.
That's a fire take. That's a fire take. So I didn't listen to this in full, but that's a fire take, right? So I'm going to continue with letting Pat talk, but Jemele Hill jumped out the window, and her comments were something along the lines of, this gives me auntie vibes, which is like ick. You know what I'm saying? Like, as a black woman who is a reporter, who's been an analyst, who still is one to this day, and for her to respond that way was just so nasty. And just her whole approach to it just was unkind, and just, it didn't feel right. So essentially what happened was, once she found out she was black, she retracted her statement. She started to backpedal, but she never apologized. She never was like online saying, oh, I'm sorry, which, to each his own. You don't have to be sorry for how you feel about things, but you have to stand on what you believe in. You can't start backtracking and acting as if you never said it that way. And that's essentially what she was doing. And I don't ever like getting on here and tearing down people of color, especially black women or black men or Spanish women or Spanish men. I really don't like doing it, but a spade is a spade, right? Like, it's similar to those people who, the people who were Hispanic and voted for Trump, right, and voted against their best interest. There was clips a long time ago where people were in Florida, and they were cheering Latinos and Hispanics for Trump and doing celebrations, only to be those same people asking for mercy when he employs ICE on them. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so if you're gonna be who you are, be who you are. But when shit hits the fan, don't start to retract and act as if you never did it. I was very disappointed to see her kind of partake in that, because it didn't make any sense to me why anyone would think it was a negative thing in the first place. Like, if you listen to it, it's like, wow, I want to actually go back to the clip, because when you look at him, right, and for the people listening, you're not going to be able to see it, but I'm just going to kind of break it down. Like, when you break down like the science of people, and essentially like you look at, social cues, and you look at like,
Congratulations on your success.
small gestures and things of that nature, right? Looking at his face, he looks fucking defeated,
I want to tell you,
right?
congratulations on your success, young man.
Like, look at his eyes. These are the eyes of someone that's going to cry in the car. You understand what I'm saying? These are the eyes of someone that when they see it, when they leave that conference or wherever, when they got that time to be to themselves, they're going to cry.
Thank you. You hold your head up, all right? You guys have had a most magnificent season.
Thank you.
You did a great job.
This right here, the biting of the lip, he's holding back emotions right here. You know what I'm saying? So as a first-time head coach and the scrutiny that he faced when he first came in to where he took them, no one expected it, but it's still hard to lose, right? But for one person to be in there, because they were going to ask him a million questions about what he did wrong, what he could have did better, there was one person in there for 27 seconds thought to say, hey, I want to give you some positive praise, which I don't understand how that could be a bad thing, right? So you keep looking at him.
So you just hold.
He starts smiling. His whole mood changes.
Your
whole
head
mood
up, okay?
changes.
And ladies and gentlemen, Duval, you the one.
It's
all
different,
right? You keep it going. We got another season, okay?
That gave me, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's the type of stuff that gave me goosebumps watching that. That made me feel good. And I don't even play for the team. So, essentially, I think with everything going on right now, we got to do better. We're tearing down people that don't deserve it. And she went on her, she went on many platforms after that because people just wanted to have her up. And she went on many platforms. And she gave her credentials because people were calling her, people who don't know anything about her, you know, were killing her for this, right? So this was her response to the people, which was beautiful. But I'm going to let her tell it. Here we go. Snap. Hold on. Sorry. Let me share this page. Just something to think about, man. Be kind to people. We don't know what people are going through. Like, especially people that have high pressure jobs, you know?
Believe your comments spawned that in an hour?
Well, think about it. It's probably been some less than that. I think everyone, they're looking at it because you need something to talk about. So here we are, the Jaguars versus the Bills. But you're congratulating the losing team in a manner that takes up on this magnitude.
But the other shoe drops. Nationally, ESPN, all these national reporters are loving what you're saying.
Yes.
But then you find there's others who weren't so happy.
I see that. Oh, I got some comments. This young lady, this is not for a reporter, and a reporter shouldn't do this. And well, there are no.
She was talking about Jamel Hill specifically, for sure.
Rules. And you know that. Is there a set of rules for this? You tell me how long you've been a sportscaster. I'm asking you a question now.
Decades. And when they invite you in, you're there. And if you have the microphone, you can say what you want.
Ding, ding, ding. And I said what I wanted. And I have no qualms about it. The social I've interviewed, I was telling Melly, from Barack Obama to Terry Bradshaw to Tiger Woods. I've been in this sports arena a long time. In the media.
She's interviewed plenty of people, man. Plenty of people. My final take on this is simple. If we don't know the full story, let's not talk about it, right? Like, if we don't know what is going on, if we haven't done our research, let's stop jumping out the window to make a comment, to be the first to comment on something. We don't know these people. And one of the things that I also wanted to note is that this reporter that works for the Jacksonville Tribune or Jacksonville Free Press, she's probably talked to this dude asked them a million questions throughout the year. So this is not like a random reporter asking a random question. This is a reporter that has built a rapport with this person. And on top of that, that would make somebody want to come and talk to you and give you the information and divulge information. Last time I checked, that's how you build relationships. So I don't really understand, like in sports is all about building relationships and commodities. So I'm very confused to why that's professional. I know a reason why, you know what I'm saying? I definitely know a reason why that's unprofessional, because there were other reporters that were asking very unprofessional questions and nobody batted an eye about it. So it's just very weird timing, but it is what it is. Shout out to Lynn Jones. That was very nice, and it was very heartfelt for her to be able to kind of diffuse and you know, break the air and create a circumstance where it made somebody else feel good before they started to tear this person down. So shout out to her. I thought that was beautiful. So yeah, let's from there let's get into tech, because I think there was some big news in the tech world. I don't really want to talk about the whole ICE situation, and eventually we will have to kind of discuss it briefly, and you know, Trump shenanigans, but I want to talk about this. So this reads Apple Google strike a Gemini deal for revamped Siri and major win for Alphabet. So for those who don't know, because I definitely didn't know this until I started doing research, Apple has a partnership with OpenAI, and I guess they didn't like the way it's been going. The artificial intelligence that they wanted to create has been taking a little bit longer than expected. So they struck up a deal with Google, and Gemini is pretty cool. I mean, Google's kind of, you know, running the market as far as outside of ChatGPT, but the two artificial intelligent blockbusters have been those two. So I think that's really cool. I think Apple's Siri has been stagnant for very long. Like it doesn't feel like AI. For those who ever interacted with like ChatGPT or something like that, it's a complete different experience. Even Gemini, it's like you're having a whole conversation with a person, and essentially that's where the future is going for AI. So I thought that was a huge win for Apple. Apple stock is definitely going to shoot up, and let's dive into this article a little bit. So Apple will use Google's Gemini model for revamped Siri coming later this year under a multi-year deal that deepens the tech giant alliance in artificial intelligence. The deal, announced Monday, marks a major vote of confidence for Google, which already drives pretty much of Samsung's AI market. So if no one has noticed, Apple and Google have become one in the sense of they used to have different chargers. They used to do everything is USB-C because they're moving towards a more universal approach, where it's like you just prefer to have this. But if you're noticing, I don't know if you're paying attention, but everything that is on Apple is on Samsung and vice versa. Google phones as well, they're a little different, but everything is becoming transferable to the point where it's just, I like the model of the Apple phone, so I prefer that. There's little nuances, but they're all similar. They all do the same things. So after careful evaluation, Apple determined Google's AI technology provides the most capable foundation for Apple foundation models, Google said, adding that the models will also power other future Apple intelligences. When they bring the Apple glasses back, they're definitely going to incorporate Google's server into that. The iPhone maker had in late 2024 rolled out ChatGPT into its devices. So ChatGPT is built into all the Apple devices, allowing the company's Siri voice assistants to tap into the chatbot expertise. So, you know, if you have an Apple phone, you can kind of see how they're integrated. But there were no major changes to ChatGPT integration, while OpenAI did not respond. So basically, Apple was saying they had ChatGPT, but nothing really changed. So that's why they kind of went in a different direction. this is huge. So in a nutshell, this is huge because, as we all know, there's a race for artificial intelligence and creating the best version of it, right? So I was watching a Neil deGrasse Tyson podcast interview, and he was just talking about how AI essentially is going to continue to be assistive tech. It's not going to take people's jobs. It's not going to evolve into something that it shouldn't, it shouldn't evolve into something that we can't control or is like this evil commodity. So that's what he was talking about, and that's what he was speaking on. And I thought that was pretty cool. So when you think about AI, most people do, they think about it in a sense of this thing, but really all it is just information, is data. So one of the great points that he made was AI can only search things or do things that already exist. So if it doesn't exist, it can't make it up because it's not built to do that. Now, will that change in the future? Maybe. But that will require it to have its own form of intelligence that doesn't rely on any other source. And that would be, when that happens, we would be fucked. Like, if that was to happen, we would be fucked. But we're a lot of years from there. And I just think this is good news just for the artificial and tech space. Some people might disagree, and they don't like the fact that Google's monopolizing everything, aka Elon Musk. But to them, I would say create a better product. Google has been reliable for years, so there's no better company to foster something like that. I think that would be super dope, which kind of ties into our other tech news, just how scary tech can get. As I was doing some research for the show, I was trying to figure out, like, what the heck am I going to, what am I going to talk about that's tech? Because I haven't really been paying attention to too much things that are tech-based. And the one thing that I found online, it's a New Jersey. So I want to preface this with saying I've been seeing this a lot more, and I'm sure you guys have as well. Just the deep fake of just, pornographic films and people. So I guess there's a New Jersey lawsuit that's showing how hard it is to fight deep fake just images. This article was interesting because I didn't know any of this stuff, right? So this stems from an app that was called Cloth Off. You can't access it now, but they filed a lawsuit, and basically what it did was there was some high schoolers that used this app, and it like exposed another high schooler, and then they how rumors go, kids bullying. That's essentially how it developed. But the parents, and it looks like a clinic at Yale Law School, filed a lawsuit to take the entire app down, because the issue was, and I'm kind of like nerding out a little bit, but it was very interesting because it was talking about how it can't prove intent with AI. So how I just was explaining about how AI can only do what it's told, basically. So for those who are on Twitter, Elon Musk has something called Grok, which is like a general purpose tool. But what that does is you can ask it a lot of things. Like, I've been online and I've seen, there might be a picture of a celebrity, and then people under it will say, Grok, show me this picture without blah, 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 right? But that's hard, right, when you're trying to sue for that. And that's kind of where we're probably going to have, to have more regulations on how we're using AI and how it can be used, because this lawsuit was very interesting. So the complaint was filed in October. Langford and his colleagues serving notice. Once they serve, I want to find it, but in the meantime, the Grok case might seem simpler problem to fix because Elon wasn't hiding. So basically, the people of this app, they couldn't find him. So here's what the lawsuit was, right? So illegal to produce, transmit, or store regularly scanned for on major cloud services. So that's what the platform was doing, right? But they couldn't find the people. So I'm trying to find it. So Cloth Off is designed and marketed specifically as a deepfake pornography image and video generator. When you're suing a general system that users can query for all sort of things, it gets complicated. They created the Take It Down Act, which is basically if they see something online, you flag it, you have to take it down, or legal action can come from that. But I can't find it. Oh, I should have made a note. Anyways, it's impossible to, this is where it was. It's impossible to say how the investigation will resolve, but at the very least, the flooding of the images, The hard question is, what did X know? What did X do or not do? And what are they going to do in response to it? So basically, just saying that they don't necessarily know, like they can't prove intent with AI. So essentially it's a system. You can't sue a system if you can't prove intent. So at this point, we're getting to the point where we're starting to fight machines. You know what I'm saying? Like we're starting to try to find ways to apprehend machines that humans are using. It's gonna get real tricky. It's gonna get real tricky. But I thought that was very interesting, so I figured I'd bring it up. But yeah, let's dive into a little bit of music news. So I'm a day late and a dollar short, right? Like I'm so far behind in these episodes, and I promise y'all I'm gonna be doing them weekly. But I just thought that this guy right here, who is more famous than him? I like hip hop artists. I don't know if there's another famous person other than Snoop Dogg. He's everywhere. He was at he was at the Christmas performance, which was super dope. He had his own bowl, his own college bowl. They showed him receiving kicks. Like this dude he's just literally everywhere. He was at the Steelers game, and then he was at the Golden Globes, right? So this was just him admitting that he's hot. Let's listen. Let's tap in and see what he said.
You all are winners. You all are winners. But the real winner, I'm high as a motherfucker right now. Y'all had me here too damn long. The winner is Good Hang with Amy Poehler.
So I'm just in the good vibes, and you know, who is more popular, more funnier, more relatable than this dude? You know, I know Shaq is up there, but I think for the simple fact of just who Snoop is to the people, I just think it's effortless. So it's crazy to think about his progress, where he came from. Murder was the case, to actually going on trial for murder, to beating murder, to being who he is, to where he is now on everybody's TV. Martha Stewart, grandma loves him, everybody knows him. It's a beautiful thing, and there's a message in there somewhere, where it kind of just lets people know, you know, you can never stop evolving for better. You can never stop being a better person. You can never stop doing something that you enjoy. You can never stop being great. And I think to see how old he is, he's old, man. Like, he's not young. He's not, 30, 40, 50. I think if I'm not mistaken, he might be 50. Is he high 50s or 60s? Let me see. Let me see Snoop's age real quick. Snoop is 54. So I guess for me, it's just more so the fact that he's just enjoying himself and having a great time doing it. I think that's where it's like I enjoy seeing that. I enjoy seeing our hip hop legends be legends, right? But even if they don't make the stardom that Snoop had, because Snoop is not like a commercial artist, right? Snoop is just Snoop, and how he got into the rooms, he got into them. But I just think in general, like even this right here, like you just have to appreciate some of this stuff because you're never gonna see it again, and all these other stars appreciate their stars, and it seems like we don't. So to see this.
The fiend of a microphone. I'm the microphone. Yeah. Yeah. The fiend of a microphone.
Like, this is so tough.
The fiend of a microphone. The fiend.
If y'all don't know what he's doing right now, he's he's basically like a fiend, like on the stage. That's the whole introduction to the record. And then coming to live.
I was a fiend. Before I became a king, melt the microphone, set it cold, the ice, when music originated, when hip hop originated, made it like music. Cause I grabbed the mic, try to say yes, y'all.
Yeah.
And say that I'm too small. Back to the lab.
Yo. To be able to do that, man, that's not easy. That is not easy. So commendable, man. Like super commendable. You just love to see the legends and how they have continued to grow over time. It's a beautiful thing. So shout out to Snoop, shout out to Rakim. And they kind of keep it in the music realm of things. I don't know when this happened, but I saw it recently, so I was like, you know what? I gotta talk about it because this shit was incredible. Hitboy, so I guess Hitboy's studio has been hit more than once, which is not like, these West Coast niggas is different, but people are coming to rob him and steal his shit. This was January 5th. So he dropped a record called Idiots, or I forgot what it's called. It's not called Idiots. Excuse me, it's called Crowbars. He dropped a record called Crowbars, and they showed the footage, and the footage was kind of surreal, but let's read what he said. Hitboy is turning misfortune into music after his studio was targeted by robbers. On Sunday, January 4th, multi-platinum producer, rapper, and released a new song called Crowbars. This morning around 4 a.m., these lyrics. I did a freestyle called Crowbars, watching the footage of these low lifes going through my shit. If you know these clowns, tag them in the comments. I got cash for you. So this was accompanied actual CCTV footage of the break-in. Let's just watch some of it, but when
you have everything you need.
On a lighthearted note, right? Like this shit is scary, bro. Like this shit is scary, yo. This shit is so scary. Like to be able to see this and witness this, I probably would never want to go to the studio again if I see motherfuckers crowbarring and breaking into my shit and I don't know who these people are. I don't know how they got the drop. I don't know none of this shit, right? It's different. Motherfuckers will steal you for your shit, and times is hard. People coming off of holidays or just in general the economy, people are trying to do some weird, real nasty, weird things. So I think this was a dope idea, a dope thing to do, but I don't think it's something people should make light of, because, you know, you fuck around and find out, you know, or you taunting people, and, you know, you don't want that shit to come around to you, because at some point it will. But he seems to be making light of it. I'm gonna show you what the song is, and this was really cool. As we all know, Hitboy has developed more into being a rapper than just a producer tag, and he's been doing a great job at it. So let's play some of it. Did I not share it? Oh, I'm sorry. Here we go. Y'all get the point. He's literally narrating the story while it's happening. This is a dope concept. Again though, like, you know, this shit ain't cool for niggas to be breaking into your shit, but it's also not cool to make it look cool, you know. But thank God his kid, you know, he said his son could have been there. Like, just thank God there was nobody there. Because these niggas, about 10 niggas, man. Like, they were up to no fucking good. I want to find the part where it was like, they's in there. Like, look at this shit.
Yeah, that's my superpower, bitch. I can't be more shook. I just thank God, then I write it in a hook.
Right, that's the one, right? That's the one. So I'm glad he's safe, you know. Thoughts and prayers to him and his family, because that shit could have went a totally different way if somebody actually was there. So, and with that being said, we're gonna dive into. I'm just gonna touch briefly on, you know, some of the things that ICE has been doing. I don't necessarily want to talk about it too long, because I don't want to keep beating a dead horse, because I feel like I feel like everyone has kind of already talked about it, and I'm a little late. But for those that don't know, for those that are under a rock and don't know, you know, how crazy things have been, this, I guess, is just a essentially a scope of the civil unrest because of ICE. So there was a video, and I didn't watch it, but it was a 37-year-old woman. She was in her neighborhood, and, you know, ICE, you know, they try to take her out of her car. Her name was Renee Nicole Good, I believe. She was 37, and here we go. Renee Good, we're just gonna call it. I thought I saw her middle name somewhere, but just this is in Minneapolis, where it's like a thriving community, and essentially people are a mixture of that. But it just seems like, you know, they shot and killed this lady. Basically saying that she was attempting to run over the ICE agent, which wasn't true. She was just trying to get out of there. You know, if somebody's pulling on your door with a mask and telling you to get out or identify yourself, and you don't know them, they're not police officers. It's like, we're forgetting about the fact that people, there's a thing called, you know, fight or flight for a reason. And if you're in law enforcement, you kind of know that. But also, it's a car. So shooting through the window to kill this lady, when there's many things you could do. Let's just say she is a problem. You can shoot the tires out. You know what I'm saying? You don't shoot through the window of a car. Like, you're scaring people, you know? So, this has been hard to kind of just digest and think about it. And if I'm being honest and transparent, I kind of just go as life goes, but like, to see shit like this is not, it's not good, man. It's not good. Of all people, you know, who had something to say about this, I was very interested to see Joe Rogan kind of speak on it, because, you know, he was very pro-Trump when all this transpired, but I think some of the people are coming to their senses with how they feel about this dude.
I think after that woman was shot, I think unfortunately, well, everything's unfortunate about it, right? But one of the real problems is now ICE are villains, and now people are looking at them like murderous military people that are on the streets of our city, and they're masked up, which is also a problem, right? Because if you get arrested by a cop, you're allowed to ask the cop, what is your name and badge number? And you could film that cop.
Right.
If you get arrested by an ICE agent, you have no such right. They're wearing a mask. They don't have to tell you shit. That's a problem. That's a problem on our city streets, right? Because you could also pretend to be an ICE agent.
Right.
I think.
Right. So that's the bigger problem, is that these people don't have to identify themselves. So why do I gotta talk to you? Who are you? I don't know your bad. I don't know who you are. You could be anybody. There was a person that dressed up as a fake police officer in Minneapolis, excuse me, I don't think it was in Minneapolis, wherever it was, but dressed up as a fake police officer and killed a whole family. Like, it's just like, man, this shit is not. It's not something that people are really understanding how psychologically fucked up it is. And people that can continue to go on as if this is just normal, there's something wrong with you. It's very sad what happened to her. They're still striking all across the country, and they're going to continue to do it. And Trump is going to continue to use tax dollars to send more ICE agents into these communities. You know, the mayor and the governor are telling them to get the fuck out of there. Like, it's just all bad, yo. Homeland Security Kristi Noem on Sunday said the agency was sending hundreds more of federal agents to protect ICE agents. I want to see something. I want to see something. And maybe I'm ignorant, but let's just see where this rabbit hole goes. How much of the tax dollars are being spent when maybe Google will give me an answer. Maybe they won't. Deploying the National Guard costs taxpayers significant amounts, varying by mission, with examples showing costs of $1 million to $1.8 a day for large urban deployments, like DC in 2025. So that was last year when they were deploying the troops. $1 million in taxpayers' money. Cost taxpayers around $120 million when they were rioting in LA. Portland, same thing, $3.8 million. Crazy, bro. This country complains about. I don't get it. I don't understand it. This country complains about money and the people that voted for this dude. He's a businessman. Like, I don't get it. I don't really understand the purpose of what this dude is doing. I'm not picking up what he's putting down. I never did, but it's like some of the things you used to be able to be like, okay, first term, okay, maybe. Now it's like, huh? And everybody's just, oh yeah, man. Like, oh, that's great. He's doing it for. We captured the president of Venezuela for cocaine distribution, while pardoning a coke lord from Honduras. It don't make sense. Iran wants to go to war, or they're saying they're preparing for war. They don't want to go to war, but they'll go to war if they have to. We want Greenland to be the 51st state. How would that even work? You got to fly to the state? Anyways, ICE shootings are a direct byproduct of tactic shift, ex-ICE acting director says. There have been several incidents of ICE agents fatally shooting and injuring U.S. citizens after a shooting on Thursday. They called it a pattern of violence. This was just a nice conversation between the NPR host and the ex ICE acting director. I want to find where they are. What's the person's name? The misconduct. That misconduct can be seen in the way ICE is arresting people, Merrill says. Others tell me it's palpable in the way agents deal with protesters. So on that, I mean, are ICE agents prepared? Do they know how to handle and how to engage with protests? Crowd control is not the role of ICE agents. In fact, they are not trained to do it. He served as here it is. The way in which this administration is deploying agents, the way in which, and especially with tasking the agents with being their front line, you're creating toxic stew there, obviously. This was a nice interview. I want to find here it is. And it's the direct byproduct of the shift in tactics that we saw. You really begin in March where the administrators started promoting all these surges. And these very flashy, high-profile operations in cities. And I'd also like to note, like, anybody can become one. They're advertising for anybody. So it's like, dog, it's just scary, man. Like, you're advertising for hate groups, and we don't necessarily know, it's just sad, man. And I hope that there'll be a time where people can come to their senses on some of the things that are right and wrong, what's human and what's not. Like, fuck politics. Some things just ain't right. Taking somebody from their family is not right. If somebody's here paying taxes and you take them, that's not right. I get if people are here doing harm and causing chaos. I understand. I wouldn't do it, but I understand it. But nah, dog, I don't think that there's any excuse for things the way they are. We're literally stopping cocaine trafficking into America. That's what y'all signed up for. Yay, cocaine. You know what I'm saying? Yay, we stopped cocaine. What? Come on, bro. Anyways, so we're wrapping up here, and I'm getting to the end of the show where we talk about how can I make this work. This is the segment where we read a scenario, we diagnose what's wrong with it, and we talk about how to handle it. And then we talk about how I would handle it. I'll give you the rational thought, and then I'll give you the irrational thought. All right, so let's get it started. Also, for those that don't know or maybe not, I just created the Reddit channel. So jump in there. The Reddit channel is called Make It Work. Let's build that community. All right, let's make it work. But yeah, so here we go. This is real lengthy, so I'm not going to read the whole thing because this is just a lot. But you'll get the premise within the first maybe 2 minutes or so. All right, so it says, I want opinions on this situation. So on my birthday, my two closest friends surprised me for the day. They had my parents drop me off at a brunch spot where I had no idea what was going on or that they even were there. So when I got there, they were there, and it was a surprise. They were in my city. We did a special which included unlimited mimosas plus a food item for a set price. They also got me a bouquet, small cake, and a gift. Those are some nice friends. We hung out for a few hours, then we got ice cream. One of my friends paid for the brunch and the ice cream. 2 weeks later, that friend Venmo charged me for the meal and the ice cream without telling me. Ooh. I was upset because to me, you're the one who surprised me, right? And especially since this was for a birthday, usually you take care of whoever's birthday it is, portion, which is true. I confronted her about it and told her it was okay if I had to pay my share of the meal, but that it threw me off because she didn't say a word about it, but just Venmo'd charging me. She got upset and gaslighted the whole situation. We had a long discussion about it, but she didn't see my perspective at all and still thinks it's subjective. It made me feel like she's not a very good friend, and I don't feel like I should still be friends with her. Thoughts? All right. So, this is where I stand on this. All right. So I'm going to say, anytime people do anything that are surprises, this is common knowledge. If you do something that is a surprise, then you're supposed to take care of it. You don't have to pay for it. It's one person. It's not like it's a birthday dinner for a bunch of people. It's one person. So the people should be taking care of it if they really care about you. Now, if she couldn't afford to do it, she should never surprise you, especially if y'all live in the same city / town or state, whatever it is. So, the reasonable thing to do, because I don't think that's very friendly, but maybe ask her about her finances. Did you need the money? Kind of try to get more information other than her just giving her side. Now, if she cannot, if she's deflecting and trying to gaslight the situation, then you don't got to talk about it no more. One of the most wonderful things that I've learned is that people pay you or people owe you money, and there's an issue between that. Whatever that amount is the amount you paid off to not see this person or to not have this person in your life. If you feel like they're just not quality for you. So that would be my advice. And truthfully, the moment that I got a Venmo without a text or a call or saying, "Hey, yo, I need some, I'm hurting," you know what I'm saying? I would have paid it, and we would have never spoke again. We would have never spoke again. So, I would probably try to talk to her and get more information and see if you can carve it out. But if she keeps saying that it's subjective, that means it's time to separate. It's time to go in different directions. Because it's not worth it. It's not worth your time or your energy to do something like that. So that's what I think. Hopefully you follow that. Hopefully you take anything that I said as some type of advice, and we'll see how it works out. Let me know how it works out. But yeah, essentially that's what the premise is of how can I make this work. We'll do a few questions at the end, and then we'll just talk about it. So I'm definitely signing off. We're going to get off here. But I want to say thank you to everyone tuning in. This has been a new experience. This has been dope. Shout out to my backdrop. Shout out to 2026. Happy New Year. And I hope everyone's able to follow and accomplish the goals that they set, because the year has just began. And before you know it, we'll be halfway through the year. So with that being said, one of my goals was to start doing this and being on top of it. So if I'm doing it, you got to do it too. So continue to hold yourself accountable, have fun, and do things that make you happy. Stop trying to please everybody. Don't get into professions or jobs or do hobbies or because somebody else likes it. Do it because you want to do it, and then people will like it. Stop worrying about how other people feel about you. Who cares? Nobody gives a fuck. If they cared enough, then they would give a fuck, but they don't. So stop worrying about what other people think and feel. And that's my advice. That's what I can tell you. That's how you can make it work. With that being said, peace out.